Yo, what is up, guys? My name is Nicholas Earl, and welcome back to another episode of Earl Sports Bets. And today, we've got some UFC action. Vegas 18, I want to say. Alexander Volkov taking on Alistair Overeem in the main event. And let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the video here. Yep, it's the right one. Our first fight of the night, we've got Jerome Rivera taking on Osborne. Osborne coming in 8-3, 0-1 in the UFC. Jerome Rivera is 10-4, and he's 0-2 in the UFC. Osborne coming off of a round one loss submission against Brian Kelleher. Rivera coming off of a decision loss against Francisco Figueiredo just 2 weeks ago. And then he also had a TKO loss against Tyson Nam in the second round. Looking at this fight, on the Osborne side, he's got great ground game. I can't speak, and he's really good off his back. The only thing is, what does his gas tank look like? He's usually around one guy. He's only hasn't gotten out of the first round in a while. But I think he's just he does have the advantage in this fight. I think he's the better overall fighter in this one. Rivera, he did fight 2 weeks ago, which is kind of concerning. He is on short notice, and I'm wondering what his durability is going to look like. And his striking is just weak, honestly, Rivera. And this is supposed to be a 145. This is a 145 pound fight, and Osborne came in at 134.5. Both fighters are both usually 125ers, so that's going to be interesting to see as well. But for my pick in this one, I'm going to go with Osborne. I don't know if he's any parlay material or anything like that, and I think it's going to be like around inside the distance probably. We can look at the inside the distance prop here. We're gonna go fighter wins inside the distance plus 135 if you want to do that. I think if it is going to be inside the distance, it is going to be Osborne to take this fight. All right, heading on to our next fight of the night, we have Timur Valiev taking on Martin Day. Valiev coming in 16-2 in his career, 0-0 in the UFC. But there's a caveat to that. Martin Day coming in 8-5. He is 3-0 currently, or 0-3 in the UFC. Wow, that was way off. Looking at Timur Valiev, he did have his UFC debut already, where he fought Trevin Jones. He looked great in the first round, and then kind of gassed out and got knocked out against Jones. But later, Trevin Jones was tested positive for marijuana, which is so stupid, but it is what it is. That was a no contest after that. Apparently, you can't fight high. So after that, he hasn't had a fight since. Martin Day coming in on a 3-game losing streak. He's had the trifecta of losses. He's lost by submission, he's lost by knockout, and he's lost by decision. Coming off of a round 1 submission loss to Dos Santos and a round 3 knockout loss versus Davey Grant, which barely knocks anyone out. I think this is a pink ticket fight for Martin Day. I don't think he gets another fight after this. Maybe he gets one more, seeing that he's doing the UFC a favor, and coming in on short notice. He just didn't look good at all. He's got bad fight IQ. Just stuck his neck out there for a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt in Dos Santos. I just don't see Martin Day really having a shot here. On the Valiev side, he's gonna get some ground control here. He will get the takedowns. He's got good striking, and I feel like this is just a very good matchup for Valiev. He's definitely a parlay piece I'm looking at, so I'm going to go with him here. I think by decision will probably be the best prop for him. plus 185 for Valiev by decision. I don't hate that. Really? Plus 185? That's kind of crazy. A minus 400, but by decision. And he is minus or plus 185. They say just as good of a chance at a knockout. But I like Valiev. I like him by decision here. Just he's going to control Martin Day for, I think, 15 minutes and get the decision win. Next, we have a matchup here. It should be an interesting one. It's going to be Yusef Zalal taking on Sung Woo Choi. Minus 225 for Zalal and plus 190 for Choi. Zalal coming in 10-3, 3-1 in the UFC. His last fight was his only loss. Sung Woo Choi coming in 8-3. He is 1-2 in the UFC. Looking at the Zalal side, coming off of he started 2020 with a 3-game win streak or 3-fight win streak against Lingo. He went against Jordan Griffin and then Pete Barrett, which he was just cut from the UFC, and then he loses a decision versus Topuria. But if we look at his first 4 fights, decision win, decision win, decision win, decision loss. This is Yusef Zalal is a decision machine. He's got decent cardio, and he needs to get to the fight to the ground, I believe. But I feel like he's only taken down not great fighters. He was able to take down. He struggled to take down Griffin, which was not. He does not have good takedown defense, and he took down Peter Barrett, which didn't have good takedown defense either. On the other side, Sung Woo Choi gets his UFC debut, and he gets Maslow Evloev. Evloev is probably going to be someone challenging for the title the next year and a half. And then he gets Gavin Tucker. Yikes. Gavin Tucker's looked great too. Then he finally gets a good matchup in his last one, and he gets the win. Looking at this, I think Choi is definitely the value side on this one. He has the striking advantage. He has the size advantage. And I think he's just got to wear down Zalal, just try to get him to gas out a little bit. We're going to be going with the dog here, Sung Woo Choi at plus 190. I feel like this is just a good dog pick. And plus 190, I think this line's just a little bit too wide. I'm going to take Sung Woo Choi by decision. The over is minus 215, so it's nothing crazy there. But give me Choi by decision for this one. Next, we have Laura Procopio taking on Molly Meatball McCann. Minus 135 for McCann, plus 115 for Procopio here. McCann coming in 10-3, 3-2 in the UFC. Procopio 6-0, 0-1 in the UFC. And looking at McCann here, this is a striker versus grappler match. McCann is definitely the better striker in this one. But the thing is, though, she opened up at minus 400, by the way, Molly McCann, and there's been plenty of money on Procopio, and I wouldn't be surprised if she closes as the favorite, Procopio here. McCann is coming off of a bad loss versus Tyler Santos, and then she had a 3-game winning streak coming into that. But it was against fighters like Belbita and Ariane Lipsky and Ketchabeating. Like these are 3 of the worst women's UFC fighters on the roster right now. So I mean, I think she's just overrated here. And looking on the other side here, I think Procopio could put up some volume in her striking against McCann here. McCann doesn't really take damage well, so I think this is going to be an interesting fight here. And I think that she definitely has a chance to stop some takedowns. We're going to go Procopio here. We're going to go dog number 2, I guess, plus 115. That's still a dog. So we're going to go with her at plus 115. I'm going to take I think it's going to be by sub. Let's see. Let's see what we can get for her by submission. If you want to go round submissions, 20-1, 22-1, 25-1. But I'm looking more at this one right here, plus 650. I don't hate that. May do a quarter of a unit, half a unit, something like that on that. As well with the plus 115, but we're going to go with Procopio to win this matchup straight up at the plus 115 price tag. Next, we have Carl Rosa taking on Jocelyn Edwards. Carl Rosa coming in 13-3, 2-0 in the UFC. Edwards is 10-2, 1-0 in the UFC. You can get Carl Rosa for minus 237, plus 202 for Edwards, and this is going to be a interesting fight. Once again, Edwards is coming in on short notice. There's been a bunch of short notice fighters for this card, so that's kind of interesting. Edwards does have good offense and a great ground game to back up on. I think she's just going to have to take this fight to the ground if she wants to really have a shot at winning this. Carol Rosa is just someone who has tons and tons of volume of striking, over 120 strikes in both her fights versus Procopio and Mello. I think Carol Rosa can potentially be parlay material if you're looking for someone to parlay. Minus 237 is one of those where it's just a little bit too much to bet straight up, but I think Rosa is definitely parlay material. I don't know if I would go full bore on her parlaying. I think there's other fighters that I feel are more parlayable. Timur Valiev being one of them. Stamann coming down later in the thing, probably being another one. But I do like Carol Rosa to get a decision win here. She definitely doesn't have any striking to really finish Edwards, and I think she'll just win by volume again in this match. So give me Carol Rosa by decision. You can take a minus 237 for Rosa, and by decision minus 105. I don't hate that at all. I probably will bet the minus 105 rather than the minus 237. So give me Carol Rosa by decision. I think that this is a pretty easy pick here for the decision part. I don't know if Rosa wins, but I definitely like her to win. Next, we have an absolute banger. We got Justin James coming in on short notice, by the way, versus Devonte Smith, minus 305 for Smith, plus 255 for the Guitar Hero James. James coming in 16-6, 1-2 in the UFC. Devonte Smith is 2-1 in the UFC and a 10-2 overall record. James coming off of back-to-back losses against Benitez and then Gavin Tucker. After his shocking first-round victory versus Frank Camacho. Devonte Smith coming in, he was a huge favorite when he fought Worthy a year and a half ago and got knocked out in the first round. But these guys are first round or bust. The last three fights for each of these fighters, only one of them, the fight with Gavin Tucker for Justin James, went past the first round. Both these guys are absolutely 100% first round or bust. That's why kind of I don't want to really bet a side for this. If you're doing a Hail Mary parlay, just bet the under 1.5 for this one. Both these fighters have 1 round cardio. And I think Justin James is going to do the same thing he did to Frank Camacho maybe and bum rush this guy and just try to knock him out in the first round. Looking at this thing here, you can get Justin James knockout in the first round for 6-1. I don't hate that plus 600 for Justin James. And after a year and a half off for Smith, I think there may be a little rust here. We're going dog here. Plus 255, Justin James. I think, he can potentially get the round 1 victory. I think that this is going to be an interesting fight. It's going to be an absolute banger. I think this is not going to go much past that 1.5 if he even makes it out of the first round. Justin James, I think, could bum rush him and get a knockout in this first round. As hesitant as I am, we're going to go Smith. I'm going to switch it up here. We're going to go Smith. I think that he's just a better overall fighter. I'm going back and forth on this one, though, so I don't know if I'll bet it straight up, but I definitely think it's going to be a first-round knockout for whoever wins. I'll lean Smith here. This is just probably I'll bet the minus 180 under 1.5 rounds. That's probably where I'll go for this fight. But give me the under, really, is what I'm looking at in this fight. Next one, we have slow Mike Rodriguez versus Danilo Marquez. 11-5 Rodriguez, 2-3 in the UFC, 10-2 Marquez, 1-0 in the UFC. Minus 235 for Rodriguez, plus 200 for Marquez. I'm looking at this. Rodriguez is one of those where it feels like he should dominate in this one. I think this is going to be a pretty simple breakdown. I'm all over Mike Rodriguez here. He's absolutely parlay material for me. Even though he's untrustworthy a little bit, I think that he should get it done versus Marquez here. I think Marquez is one of the worst fighters in the UFC right now. This should be a knockout for Rodriguez. If not, then this could be it for Rodriguez. It should be an easy win, I feel. I don't think Marquez is UFC level. He's struggled on the regional scene, fighting fighters that are like 0-16, stuff like that, struggles to finish them. And we're going Mike Rodriguez here. This is a parlay material, probably on the top of my list for parlays, along with Valiev and along with Stamann. I think that he's definitely a parlay. I'm going to have definitely probably those three in a parlay tomorrow night, maybe along with Rosa. But we're going to go slow Mike Rodriguez over Danilo Marquez here, minus 235. I don't feel like I need to really go much past this. Let's get to our main card here. We've got still solid 6 fights to go over, so this is a big card. This is a fun one, and we get a 6-fight main card, starting with a banger in Beneil Dariush taking on Carlos Diego Ferreira. Ferreira coming in 17-2, 8-2 in the UFC. Dariush is 19-4-1, 13-4 in the UFC. This is basically a pick'em fight. These fighters have all won at least their last 5 fights. These two are looking really good. On the Ferreira side, I think he has plenty of power in his hands, and he definitely has the gas tank advantage. He's going to come in with high volume and high pressure, and he's been improving a lot. The only thing that kind of worries me is all his opponents, other than Gordon, and his last 5 fights are no longer with the UFC. Pettis, Teshamov, Kabilov, Nelson, like all these guys are no longer in the UFC, which kind of worries me. But overall, I do like Ferreira in this matchup a little bit. On the Dariush side, he has improved his striking, I think, a little bit, but he needs to take this fight to the ground if he wants to have a shot. And he could be wild in the first round, so that's something to be careful with if you want to bet Dariush. We're going to be going Diego Ferreira in this one, minus 109. I don't mind that price. It's a pick 'em. Probably not someone I'm going to be putting on a parlay for unless it's the Hail Mary parlay. Not one of my most confident picks, but we're going to be going Diego Ferreira in this one over Beneil Dariush. Next, we have Cody Stamann taking on Askar. And no, I did not stutter. It's not Askar Askarov. It is Askar. Cody Stamann is 19-3-1, 5-2-1 in the UFC. Askar is 11-1 overall, making his UFC debut. And looking at this fight, Stamann, I feel like it's another one where he should dominate. This is my top play of the day, really. My most confident pick is Cody Stamann here. He's 100% a parlay piece for me. He's going to be probably in every single one of my parlays that I do tomorrow. He is a decision machine, but I think he'll outstrike him, Askar, and probably get a few takedowns along with that. Looking at Askar, he's really hittable. I think he's just going to be overwhelmed and overmatched in this one. He is coming in on short notice, so that's an even bigger strike against him. And he just didn't look great in the weigh-ins today. He looked a little bit flabby. But this is definitely going to be Cody Stamann, 100%. I'm going with him to get the job done. Next, we have another fun fight. We get Manel Cape taking on Alexander Pantoja, minus 111 for Pantoja. Cape, you can get him at minus 109. 22-5, 6-3 for Pantoja in the UFC, 15-4 overall for Cape. This is his UFC debut. He's very hyped heading into this. He is on off a 1 year layoff though, and I think he definitely is a great athlete. But looking at the Pantoja side, he's got a great ground game. He's got really good power in his hands, and I feel like he could clip Cape here. I think he can clip him, then take the fight to the mat. One thing to look at is Pantoja has never been finished for this fight, which I think that would be a huge path to victory for Cape. But I think this is going to be Pantoja dominating this one. I feel like that we're getting a much better price right now on Pantoja because a lot of money's been coming in on Cape. I feel like he's really hyped. I think he may be a little overhyped. We saw a couple weeks ago Michael Chandler come in and knock out Dan Hooker, coming in from a different organization, having a lot of success in the other organization and coming in and getting wins here. But I don't think that's going to happen here. We're going to go Pantoja minus 111 in this fight against Manel Cape to get the job done. Next, we get, it's just a fun one here between two untrustworthy veterans. We got Michael Johnson taking on Clay Guida, minus 200 for Johnson, plus 170 for Clay Guida. These guys are very veteran, 19-16, Johnson 11-11 in the UFC, 15-14 in the UFC, 35-20 overall for Clay Guida. 29 fights in the UFC for Clay Guida, 22 for Johnson. 51 combined fights for these two. It's kind of crazy. Clay Guida, aging veteran here, coming off of a decision loss versus Bobby Green. But I think he's very live in this one. I think if he survives the first round, that's when you're really going to want to look at Clay Guida. Live betting, I think, you're going to be your absolute friend in this fight. Because I think Michael Johnson's going to come out here, look good in the first round. And you're going to probably get a nice price on Clay Guida. Looking at after the first round, if you're looking to live bet it, you probably get minus 500, minus 600, minus 700 from Michael Johnson. You can get a nice 4-1, 5-1, 6-1 price on Clay Guida if you live bet this one after the first round. Looking at it though, because Michael Johnson, plain and simple, he is untrustworthy. He should have a great first round, and he should dominate on the feet. But he's got some really bad fight IQ, and he has a pretty bad ground game, and his cardio is weak. And that's where I think that Clay Guida may dominate in this fight, is his wrestling, his chain wrestling, and his cardio. I think Clay Guida definitely has that opportunity to be a very live dog, and we're going to go with him in this fight. I don't know if this is something I'm going to 100% go out and put my money on, but I really like Clay Guida in this fight. We're going to be taking him at the plus 170. I like Clay Guida by decision more than like a submission or anything like that. So if you're looking to get even more juice on this, Clay Guida by decision plus 250. So you're getting a little bit better juice on it, or a little bit better price on it. But we're going to go Clay Guida in this fight. There's just no way I'm going to be betting on Michael Johnson here. He's just looked bad. He lost against Moises on a fight where he looked really good in the first round, then got submitted. He looked good in the first round against Ray, and then gassed out and tired out and lost a decision. He started looking good against Emmett, and then he tired out and got knocked out. He did get 2 wins versus Lebov and Touchy Feely, but then another one where he looked good in the first round and got submitted by Darren Elkins. He looked good in the first round and then got knocked out by Justin Gaethje. And then he looked decent in the first round, got a good got a good punch against him, and then got submitted by Khabib Nurmagomedov. So this is just a guy where he just doesn't look good. He'll have a good first round, but after that, that's just about it. All you'll get from Michael Johnson. We're going Clay Guida plus 170. I just think this is not a fight where Michael Johnson should be a huge favorite. All right. Next, we're going to be looking at the co-main event of the evening. We got Frankie Edgar taking on Alistair Overeem. Wow, I'm jumping here. Frankie Edgar taking on Cory Sandhagen. I'm jumping one here. Sandhagen minus 365, plus 300 for Frankie Edgar. Sandhagen coming off of a nice win versus Marlon Moraes. Got a second round knockout after that first round loss versus Aljamain Sterling. Frankie Edgar coming off of a win as well. He got a decision win versus Pedro Munoz. Looking at this fight, Cory Sandhagen, he's got some weaknesses. His ground game's not great, and he's got terrible takedown defense. The thing is, I feel he does have better striking, and he has a very unorthodox stance, which could throw Frankie Edgar off a little bit here, but he needs to keep this fight on the feet. If this fight gets to the ground, Frankie Edgar is a very live dog at plus 300. He's got tons of experience here. Frankie Edgar, his first fight was in UFC 67. He's very durable. I feel like he definitely has the better wrestling, but the better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This will be a close fight, and I think that Frankie Edgar is 100% a live dog. He has potential to outwork Sandhagen and be able to take him down and dominate him on the ground. And we're going to take a shot here. I was on Pedro Munoz's last fight for Frankie Edgar, and he won a split decision, which I don't know if Edgar really won that fight. But we're going to be going Frankie Edgar here. I know this is definitely a out there pick, but Frankie Edgar by decision is where I'll be looking. Maybe a submission if he's able to take the back of Cory Sandhagen and ride him like a backpack like Aljamain Sterling did. But we're going to be going Frankie Edgar here. Plus 300, taking a huge shot at him. That we have had a decent amount of big favorites fall the last couple of weeks with McGregor, with Joaquin Buckley, with Amanda Ribas. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another big favorite here fall with Cory Sandhagen versus Frankie Edgar. And now we have made it to the main event of the evening. Alistair Overeem taking on Alexander Volkov. Minus 200 for Volkov, plus 170 for Overeem. Overeem here coming in 47-18, 12-7 in the UFC. Trying to make potentially a last push towards a heavyweight title. Alexander Volkov, 32-8, 6-2 in the UFC. Looking at this, I think this fight's going to end in a knockout. Whether it's by Volkov or Overeem is to be determined. But looking at Overeem's last 7 fights, he gets a knockout win against Kai, gets a knockout win against Harris, gets knocked out by Rosenstrike, gets a knockout win versus Oleinik, gets a knockout win versus Pavlovich, gets knocked out by Blades, gets knocked out by Ngannou. This is a guy where once he faces the top of the competition, he gets knocked out. He got knocked out against Ben Rothwell a long time ago, against Ngannou, against Rosenstrike, against Miocic, against Blades. Overeem definitely has a weak chin, but he's got a lot of experience. I feel like he could pace himself and potentially get some takedowns, get some nasty ground and pound on Volkov, and I think that's his shot to win. Looking at Volkov, he's got a weak ground game and not good takedown defense. I think he will be able to get up a few times after the takedowns, especially looking at that Blades fight. He was taken down 14 times, but he was able to get up. And I think Volkov does have the better cardio, but I think Overeem can get it done here. I like Alistair Overeem by knockout in this one. Let's take a look at this prop. Alistair Overeem by knockout is plus 275. I really like that line. I think that he can get it done. My pick for this fight is going to be Alistair Overeem over Drago. I think that He'll be able to get a good takedown at some point in the second or third round, probably, and get some ground and pound on Volkov and win this fight by a knockout. So that's where we're going to be going with that last fight of the evening. Let's go for a quick recap, and then we're going to head on out for this video. We have Ody Osborne. This is going to be our picks for the whole card. We're going to have Osborne. We're going to have Valiev, Choi, Procopio, Rosa, Smith, Rodriguez, Ferreira, Stamann, Pantoja, Guida, Edgar, and Overeem. Those will be our picks for UFC Vegas 18. If this information was helpful to you guys at all, feel free to hit that thumbs up button down below and hit subscribe to the channel. We have daily content on this channel from a wide range of sports, as you can see on the top side of the screen here. So we have tons of content we're coming out with each and every day. So be sure you're subscribed and have those post notifications on so you know each and every time we come out the video. But that's going to just about do it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And let's cash some tickets tomorrow night in the UFC. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.